This Pokemon almost caused the end of my year-long Nuzlocke challenge, and not in a way you would expect. In my series I call the Spizzalock, incredible name by the way, I have to play through every single Pokemon game as a generation lock, meaning I take the survivors of the last leg into the next. But I can't reuse any Pokemon, and since I basically have to play a lot of the same game over and over again, you can really start to run out of options. It's a really fun experience that not only takes you through the journey of my progress as an editor and YouTuber, but blends aspects of both old and new school Nuzlocke content to give you something entertaining. But how did this duosion almost cause my downfall? Well, recently I became monetized, and last episode chat gave me a large sum of money to kill Caden Winters the duosion for a bit. And the idea that chat could pay me to try to make me lose certainly started to snowball this leg. And you'll see why I had to ban chat from being allowed to do this. It certainly made for some interesting battles though. But before we can get to that, we first have to go through our humble beginnings and pick up the survivors of last leg. If you're new, don't worry, you don't have to watch all the previous episodes to understand this one. I just ask you to settle in, watch this through, and if you enjoyed it, consider watching the series. For this leg, we started with a nice cast of characters. Enter Beartrap II, the Stunfisk, Kyoya II, the Cubchoo, No Games Jr. the Tepig, Jack VII, the Apom, and Slicer X, the 19th. The Kabuto, with our newest addition being Spook the Oshawott. We go through early routes picking up pocketfuls of nothing since we've already cleared these encounters in previous legs. This was a bit concerning though, considering we were just starting this leg off and we still had a whole nother one to go. I could already tell we were going to be utilizing the new additional Pokemon from other regions added in these sequels. But ironically, we skipped the 5% Riolu encounter as we wanted to ensure the easy wins come X and Y. Nothing really notable happened while we stretched our legs, so let's make our way over to the Aspertia City battlefield and take a look at these gym trainer battles so I can yap about how lucky we are. You see, on the last leg, I threw a Stunfisk on my team as a Foddermon, multiple times, but not only did it survive this perilous roll, it thrived, even clutching up in the final battles, earning a spot in this leg. And while it was cool to see it boxing up Zekrom, I was even more thrilled to see it effortlessly handle these early trainers. Because while Stunfisk may pan out to be a mediocre Pokemon stat-wise later on, early game it's super impressive. It's like having a... Well, I was gonna pull up a Pokemon with the same base stat total for a comparison, but it seems Stunfisk is the lone wolf leader of the 471 club. I'm trying to say it's good early on, okay? But let's see how it fares against the first gym. We lead Beartrap against our old rivals Patrat, and we start things off with a Mud Slap, while it uses Workup. This could go south fast. The damage output we had wasn't good enough. I needed to lower its accuracy to successfully... And then it's paralyzed, that's good. From there, it's spamming Thunder Shocks until it falls. Lillipup's out and Sharon is dead set on setting Workup, so we continue to be dead set on dropping accuracy. We try and paralyze with Thunder Shock next turn, doesn't quite work out, and with a super boosted tackle, does over half of our remaining health. Our final Thunder Shock doesn't do as much as I hoped and dreamed, but instead of switching out, I use my one healing item, giving us the junk in the trunk needed to pop off another static. And then we go to our homeboy Slicer X to wall out the hits and win us our first badge. Moving on to Verbank in the Poison type gym, I was stoked, because since I was spinning the block in the Hoenn region, I had been hard saving this specific Pokemon for this very moment. Magnemite. Not only would this bucket of bolts completely counter the gym leader on its own, but Magnezone was a godsend to have for these two games. With this, I would finally be able to have it. So listen guys, we can get Magnemite 15% chance, we could get 15% chance of Magby, and yeah, so either basically 50-50 shot we get a Magby or a Magnemite this game. Yeah, we could be really screwed here if we don't get Magnemite. We need Magnemite. I don't want Magby. Magnemite apparently carries the hell out of this game. Magnemite also solos this gym. Magnemite also solos this gym. Magnemite also solos this gym. We go through a bit of a training arc, ending in Spook and No Games to evolve for the upcoming fight, without Ramanich the Magnemite to bolster our team's defenses. It was gonna be tough, but through careful planning, I decided to let Beartrap use 5% of her true power. After that, it was time to head on over to the Big Appland. I may have used that joke before. Whatever, boat scene. In New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of. A good thing about this city was, despite the battling scene being mediocre, we were able to accumulate many more items than its predecessor's counterpart, which would come in handy later, especially considering these next few gym fights. Because once chat caught wind last episode that I would kill a Pokemon when presented with enough coin, it got their cogs turning. Although I said I wouldn't be killing any more Pokemon unless an egregious amount of money was presented because it made me feel kind of scummy, this did not deter them from plotting and scheming for how they could make my life difficult. Enter Miffed Colt, a frequent chatter in Spizzle's Philanthropist, who offered me a deal. He wanted to spice up this episode of Spizzalot. The challenge was simple. For 10 gifted subs, I had to do these things. Beat Burgh with no flying or fire types. Then beat Elesa with no ground types. Finally, I needed to take down Clay without using grass or water types. Not only did I have to do this, I had to do it while only allowing a maximum of 1 death between it all. That was the risk. Do I play it safe and carry on my merry way, or risk it all and possibly not even make the mark to collect my payout? Man, rent is due! What do you think I picked? After scouring every nook and cranny of Castelia and the surrounding areas and picking up every encounter left that I could get my hands on, I had devised a plan in order to defeat Burgh without either of the 4 times weaknesses that usually clear through his gym day in and day out. And it all centered around one Pokemon, Magnope, the Audino who stole the spotlight from my beloved Freakazoid and who, quite frankly, I thought wouldn't see a single fight in the series. Because although it had some okay qualities, I didn't think it really had another worthwhile thing to bring to the table besides its solid typing and lowercase d decent bulk. But without any meaningful way to do damage back, I had all but forgotten about it. But then I remembered, what if I could just take its decent defenses and somehow just increase its offensive power? Well, luckily for us, although we have no master of anything, we do have a jack of all trades. Using Tickle on Burgh's defensive lead, we would be able to lower its attack and defense to a point where we hardly had to consider it a Pokemon, and then stack workups and baton pass them to Audino. From there, using Rest to keep herself healthy and access to Flash to dodge incoming attacks, we could easily take down Burgh without ever landing a super effective attack. Magnope, of course, comes in to replace Slicer X, and to replace no games for this anti-fire strategy comes in a Sewaddle I caught named Slippy D, who I evolve into Swadloon. It may not be much, but it was quite literally the only super effective damage we would be able to do if things go south. But enough yammering, it was time to put this plan into action. And let's just say I was having some mixed feelings about it all. Give that to you. Alright, here's the team. Jack, Oranberry, Baton Pass Return, Workup, Tickle. Spook, Fury Cutter, Razor Shell, Water Gun, Water Sport, Mystic Water. Magnope, Rest, Secret Power, Refresh, Flash, Leftovers. Bear Trap 2, Mud Shot, Mud Sport, Camouflage, Thundershock, Oranberry, Killia, the second Powder Snow, Brine, Bide, Icy Wind, Scope Lens, and Slippy D protects String Shot, Bug Bite, Razor Leaf, Miracle Seed. I'm banking this entire strategy on Audino being good. We begin to spam Tickle and encounter the first problem. Swadloon was using String Shot, meaning if we were to pass our boosts to Audino, she would also get the speed drops that come with it. Swadloon starts going on the offense, and I knew I was doing something right when even a Pokemon as frail as Jack could barely feel the incoming attacks. We go for the Baton Pass, and Swadloon goes for the kill, nearly critting Jack out and dismantling the entire strategy. Jack eats his Oranberry and nopes out of there to Magnope. We had +6 in both of our offenses, and Swadloon has -6 defense. We get crit hit frame 1, and then remind Swadloon what's been going on the last dozen turns. Magnope munches off leftovers, and out comes Dwebble, who does decent damage with a smackdown and holds on steady from our resisted, yet +6 stab base 70 power attack. We get it low and predict a heal, so I now decide it's time to use Rest. We were now both at full HP, and I use my 1 healing item to wake up Audino. From there, we trade blows, and Audino easily outpaces and takes it down, leaving nothing more than the Ace Levani. All we needed to do was survive a single attack and we were bound to win. Levani has mediocre bulk and we were at max power. Our plan had been executed flawlessly and we arguably played perfectly. It was time to finish things off. Y'all were telling me about Leaf Blade? What are you talking about? It has Razor Leaf. Get out of here. Smacked. Oh shit, it survived. Okay, good. We live another attack or we win. Don't get crit. Look what chat said. Nah, they got 2 crits. Getting a 3rd with no high chance is almost impossible. Well, clearly it's not that almost impossible, bruh. I feel like such a bad player sometimes, right? Because y'all will shit on me for my plays, and that's fine. I take it on the chin. Then I'll come up with a really good strat. And I'll be like, oh ho. I come up with a genuinely good strategy, and notice what happened. I got crit twice in a row, first of all. I got crit twice in a row. Jack got crit, and then Magnope got crit. And then the one turn where it actually mattered that I got crit with no high rolls for crit or anything. Like no like, oh, higher chance. It crits. We send in Zlippy D and finish things off. At least plan B worked. With badge 3 down and our first death already, I called things off for the night and planned how I was going to go through with the rest of this arc. I had made all this hype up about building the ultimate team and winning a leg deathless like the old days and Spizzle's naked dance cam stream that I had lost sight of what truly mattered. Money. I knew now that a deathless leg was no longer an option this time around, and I really felt like it never would be again. But Magnope died for this challenge, and so I needed to see it through and defeat Burgh and Clay under these conditions and do it deathless.
The very next day.
Spook and Bear Trap handle the trainers we encounter along the way as we pick up more valuable items, snagging encounters such as Zlippy the Cottony. Yeah, I may have somehow forgot about Zlippy D's name. Shut up, they're a dynamic duo. We evolve Zlippy and come to realize how useful it can truly be. We enter the gym and start making our way through its trainers, with no games being able to solo most of them. And finally we make it to this lady. Let's take a look at her team. Alright, let's run over the team. Jack, Cherry Berry, Baton Pass, Agility, Work Up, Tickle, No Games, Rollout, Arm Thrust, Flame Charge, Defense Curl, Eviolite, Kyoya, Charm, Brine, Bide, Icy Wind, Mystic Water, Zlippy D, Protect, String Shot, Bug Bite, Razor Leaf, Miracle Seed, Slicer X, Mudshot, Scratch, Absorb, Leer, Orin Berry, Zlippy, Charm, Leech Seed, Cotton Spore, Giga Drain, Leftovers, and yeah. That's our squad. Zlippy and Zlippy D are on the squadron. Alright, let's fight. Get to it. Of course, of course, of course, of course. Of course, no, of course, of course. Of course we spent all that time. Of course we spent all that time. And the gym leader's not even home. Okay, no, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. No, fuck me, I guess. Fuck, where is she? Where the fuck, where is she? Where is she? Where is Elesa, Black 2, White 2? Where'd she go? She's in Nimbasa. Where? Where in Nimbasa? Go to the amusement park? She's just fucking around, dude. Get out of there. Lock in, girl. I was crashing out a bit as I still felt a bit salty about last gym and wanted to get to Elesa as soon as possible. Thankfully, after a catwalk and some close calls, we made it to the actual gym leader and get to work. We go for a tickle after losing half health to Volt Switch and decidedly go to Zlippy, who gets paralyzed and we throw out a Leech Seed. It then uses Volt Switch, undoing all our hard work, and Flame Charge scares us into going to No Games, who is using the Eviolite for this battle, tanking the blow and setting a Flame Charge of his own on the incoming Flaffy. We didn't really have anyone to pivot into at this point considering matchups and defense, so it was all on No Games. We go for one more Flame Charge, tanking the blow and taking out Flaffy. I then pop my Moo Moo Milk, we spam Flame Charge, getting lucky on the rolls. KO. Alright. Last one, Zebstrika. It's low. I don't think we tank another. Volt Switch, we don't have to worry about the switch part now. We just have to worry about, we have 4 times weak to fire, weak to fire, weak to fire, weak to electric, weak. We have no choice. I'm gonna go for one more attack. We go for a final Flame Charge. Barely hang on and connect, beating Elesa deathless. There was just one more gym leader to go, so I could collect my earnings. Clay, a known Unova run killer. How would we get through this? We couldn't use Spook, Zlippy, Zlippy D, or Slicer X. Well, thankfully, we had collected a few new encounters, and got access to some powerful new TMs, so although we were at a sheer disadvantage, we had some pieces to work with. For starters, I added a new teammate, Z the Zorua, and evolved it. Then, using the TMs I obtained, I taught Jack Fire Punch and let it learn Double Hit, evolving it much earlier than usual into Ambipom. I did some more tweaking around, but I think it'll be easier for you to understand if I let livestream Spizzles do the talking. Here's the team. Here's the team. Z, the Zoroark, with Scope Lens, Foul Play, Night Slash, Scary Face, Taunt. No Games Junior, the Pig Knight, with Leftovers, Fire Punch, Arm Thrust, Flame Charge, Heat Crash. Kyoya the Second, the Cubchoo, with Eviolite, Charm, Brian, Ice Punch, Icy Wind. Jack the Seventh, the Ambipom, with Charcoal, Baton Pass, Agility, Fire Punch, Tickle. Bear Trap the Second, the Stunfisk, with Air Balloon, Mudshot, Mudsport, Camouflage, and Discharge. I think we can do this. I think we can do this for sure. We go for Tickles and Agility, trying to outpace, Intimidate, and bulldoze speed drops. Getting ourselves to +2 speed, we Baton Pass out of there to No Games, who spams Arm Thrust for the KO, but gets speed dropped in the process. We send out Bear Trap.
You fool!
It's Z. I decide the damage was too great to risk Z's life, and I go back to Jack. I use my healing item and Tickle. And Sandslash begins a rollout chain. I decide to go for another Tickle, and then risk it, and go for one more, nerfing the damage as much as I can. But now I have to switch. I have a long talk with chat, mulling over each possibility. We were losing ground, and we still weren't even at the ace. I make the call.
A few moments later.
Okay, let's say the quiet part out loud. Kyoya is an absolute no. Like, this isn't even like, oh, I don't want to. Kyoya is gonna die. Kyoya will just fucking die and will not be able to output enough damage.
6.5 hours later.
No Games possible. We don't want to do that. But the question is really, honestly, is No Games actually gonna do shit against Excadrill? Like, let's just ask that part. Bro's not even at full health. We have Eviolite, sure. But, I mean, 55 base speed. Let's see what Excadrill's got in the trunk, okay? Let's pull up the Excadrill base stats.
3 weeks later, many months later. So much later that the old
Tanky as shit. 100 HP, 110 base HP with 60-65 defense spread. So honestly, not the worst in the world. Pretty damn tanky. Okay. 135 base attack. It's like a fucking monster, even with just Bulldoze, because it's super effective. 88 base speed. So honestly, assuming we raw switch into No Games, it's getting hit with Bulldoze most likely, and getting fucked. So, No Games might not be the worst move in the world, because it takes neutral damage, it has Eviolite up, it might miss, and then even then, we should... Do we outspeed Sandslash? Zoroark outspeeds everything. Zoroark's your best bet? Are you sure? I feel like No Games, right? Like, you throw in No Games, it takes it out, Sandslash can't do enough damage to take No Games out, Leftovers keeps us kind of healthy, Excadrill comes out, we go to Bear Trap, pop the balloon, get some damage off, and... I don't know, because then KOing Excadrill with Citrus Berry, you guys might be onto something. It's like, I kind of have to bank on No Game surviving a Bulldoze. But even then, I can't, actually no, because even then I can't get No Games in, realistically. Because it's going to get outsped, and if it gets Bulldozed, no matter what, it's getting outsped either way.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
Is this Gladian's theme? Yo, Gladian's theme is my theme song, bro. Holy shit. Nah, turn this shit up. Alright, listen to me, chat. I have this down. Here's the plan. Chatter. Here's the plan. It's gonna work. No Games. I'm feeling it. We just have to believe in the crew. No crits. No whammies. Let's get lucky. Roll out. Miss. Lands. That's okay. We outspeed you. Actually, no, we don't. Doesn't matter. So we get outsped, so we want a flame charge here. It's stuck on rollout. We should live the next attack for sure. Flame charge. We dodge. We dodge. That's huge. Alright, Heat Crash. Let me look up how... I hate to do calcs. I'm not going to do calcs, but let me look up exactly how Heat Crash works. Heat Crash 60 base power here. Alright, never mind. Alright. This is the biggest point in the run. This is the biggest part of the run, guys. Because y'all are speaking too soon, though. Y'all are speaking too soon. If, you know, y'all, like, you have to understand, Bulldoze is stab, base 60 power, sure. It's super effective, and it's base 135 attack. Alright, we cannot afford to not one-shot. And I'd like to remind you, Heat Crash is based on weight. Let's compare the weights of Pignite and Excadrill, alright? Someone run the calcs if they can. That's why I'm kind of leaning towards no games, because we're already about to lose. The way I see it is, we have a potential to one-shot. Even if we don't one-shot, right, we have, I don't know why you guys keep saying arm thrust. Because it's literally like a 1 in 8 chance we get the same amount of damage as Fire Punch. So, like, I don't know what the strat is, bro. At the end of my yapping, I come to a grim conclusion. So, honestly, yeah, the more I look at it, because even if we get Bear Trap out here, we're basically like, okay, Bear Trap comes in and gets hit with a move that doesn't work because it's Air Balloon. Then gets hit again because of the outspeed. We don't know how much damage that shit's going to do, but probably quite a bit, even though we're pretty tanky. We're gonna get the speed lower. Potentially get another attack off, but we don't know. Probably not gonna one-shot. Or two-shot. And then it's like we lose. And then we also can't switch out to anyone else. Alright, guys. Well, it was a really good attempt. Either way, even if we don't get the 10 gifted, it was a really good fight for the channel. It was a really good mental test. It was good work, guys. We tried to get the 10 gifted. Even though we didn't get it, we still have other goals, other opportunities to win. And honestly, even if we lose no games here, you know, I'm still going to keep this take in the video because we had a good opportunity and we had a good fight. And I feel like that was really good for the content and it was a lot of fun. No games, you did your work. Let's hit it. GG's. I take that on the chin. Pop Citrus. Yeah. 2 shots. But Bulldoze, yeah, that's game. I was about to take the win, but Lucas stopped me. He said he felt bad for derailing the usual progression of my game in the name of clip farming, and although I may have lost the challenge, and he can't bring Magnope back, he would be okay if I just reset this battle and won my way. And that's exactly what I decided to do. But before I could even start my next attempt, he did this. Yo, Lucas B! Alright, that's fire. Bro gave me the... Alright, that's so sweet, actually. Yo, what? Turn down the music. Holy shit. A valiant effort. Yo, thank you so much, man. That means so much. I'm glad you really didn't have to do that, man. That's a W. W's in the chat. That's so kind, man. Let's go pick up our team now. Awesome. Technically, the original challenge was for 5 subs and didn't include Clay at the time, so he decided to give me the 5 gifted for the challenge I completed, and we swept the one I failed under the rug, both figuratively and literally. With some funds for the next tourney vid in my pocket and my options wide open, I evolved as Lippy D, and with a single Pokemon in hand, I tore Clay a new one.
Fight you? No. I want to kill you. Life is like a motherfucking dream. Fill my double cup.
Alright, back to our regularly scheduled program. I think we've done our fair share of covering what happens when money and Spizzlelock mix, and I think it's time we get back to a more traditional, ethical kind of run. Surely this Miffed Cult character won't come back one day and orchestrate an entire leg of Spizzlelock and turn it into the most cinematic leg to date, right? Anyway, the challenge arc was over and we were only 1 death deep, and we had 5 badges, so all in all, we up. We make our way to Chargestone Cave and catch Nosebleed the Nosepass, and past the new city, Chantrell the Fungus. It was now time to face Skyla, and Bear Trap revs up those friars by obliterating the bird Pokemon standing in our way. But with 9 Pokemon in total on our squadron, we had to do some team building. I go with Bear Trap, Spook, Jack, Kyoya, Z, and Nosebleed. With Eviolite, Nosebleed can actually hold up a bit as a tank, and thanks to the level caps of these gyms, Spook and Kyoya evolve for some much needed power. We start the battle off and lead Kyoya against Swoobat. She brushed off a Heart Stamp and lands a devastating Expert Belt boosted Icicle Crash, one-shotting. Predicting Steel Wing, we go to Bear Trap and pop off our static ability. We spam Discharges until it falls, and it was wraps from there. Fresh out the gym, we evolve no games and carry on our way. I thought this run was all peaches and cream so far, but then out comes last flow, forcing us into an unexpected triple battle. And although we fought well, it was unbeknownst to me this stupid ducklet could reach across the field to double into Slippy, killing him. Although we didn't see Slippy much on screen, mainly because it didn't really see many battles, it was an integral member, setting leech seeds and walling out some difficult battles with its cheesy moveset. This Pokemon was going to be our ticket through at least the 8th badge, and a crucial support Pokemon, and now it's gone. I thought Magnope would be the only death of this leg, but oh boy, how naive was I. We replace Slippy with Slippy D. We climb the tower, ring the bell for our fallen, and catch P, the Elgium. In order to get to our next destination, we needed to travel by air. We land in Lentimus Town and get a healthy portion of lore dumping, and then go pick up Octimus the Grumpig. We then start making our way through Reversal Mountain with Bianca, which kinda made me feel nostalgic. And although I was very stressed by all the non-single battles considering recent events, I was glad to have her by my side. We make it out alive and all in one piece, travel to Undella, and surprisingly get challenged by my rival. While I handle this guy, I just want to ask you to subscribe. If you've made it this far into the video, you're clearly enjoying what you're seeing, and it would mean a lot to me. These are my metrics, and all I ask is if you check to see if you're subscribed and press that button for me. Doing things like subscribing, liking, commenting take less than 5 seconds for you, is free, and to me it makes all the difference. Back to the video. We find a wild area and capture Micey the Driftblim and encounter a legendary Pokemon.
Excuse me, sir. No, excuse me. Don't. Alright, there we go. And we made it to Lucanosa.
Some weird stuff starts happening with Team Plasma, and so we get involved. And of course, along the way, we run into our next hurdle. Accidentally running into this fighting type trainer, we switch to no games to obviously tank the hit and KO with a fire type move. When this happens.
Bro, I'm not gonna sit around here waiting. What? What? How is that fair? How am I supposed to play around that? How am I supposed to predict that? How am I supposed to do anything about that?
I try to carry on forward as I lament the death of one of my starter Pokemon when this stupid old man blocks my path and says he refuses to let me pass until we have a Pokemon battle.
Night Slash? Huge crits? Nope. Ironhead. What the fuck, dude? What the hell? 2 crit one-shots. Bro, I do not give a shit. Hi, Iris.
Deathless Leg, 4 deaths deep. 3 of these were due to random crits, 2 of which were crit one-shots, and neither were super effective. This was extremely unlucky and goes to show how hard it is to try and do one of these deathless. You can simply just be unlucky. Luckily, we had a couple allies in reserve and had built up a good set of backup mons. I evolved Slicer X and add him back to the team to prepare for Drayden. Thankfully, with the move relearner now available to us, we have a lot more freedom over our sets. Using a combination of all of our Pokemon, though if I'm being honest, it was mostly Bear Trap, we make our way through the notoriously tough Dragon Trainers and face off against Drayden for our 7th badge. We lead Kyoya against Druddigan and pick up an easy first KO with Icicle Crash. We get lucky and thankfully don't flinch off Rock Slide, picking up our 2nd KO, and finally I predicted Haxorus' Greed and one-shot with a final Icicle Crash. Easy dubs. We make our final trek and prepare for the final gym leader. Without Slippy, we were going to have to find another cheesy grass type to make things work, and we did. We face up against Marlin and lead with our new team member, Shintrell the Amoonguss. And out comes Caracosta. We use Spore and Effect Spore to Giga Drain spam our way to victory, but she took heavy damage in the process thanks to Caracosta's sturdy ability, keeping it hanging around. Wailord is out. We predicted going for Bounce, so we go to Bear Trap and use our 1 healing item on Chantrell. We get paralyzed, but Static paralyzes it right back. We take it out in 2 T-Bolts, and finally Jellicent is here. We trade super effective damage, and I retire Bear Trap and bring out Slippy D to finish the battle off, winning our final badge. Amoonguss was a great addition to the team, and with its access to Spore, it would make the rest of this run a breeze. And for unrelated purposes, I just want to show you this upcoming trainer battle because I feel like it very much encapsulates the vibe of Spizalock streams.
If I had a fire type, this would be a lot better. My team's pretty weak to this guy. I'm gonna Sword Stance. Mega Horde. Yep. Yep. Yep, that's Lippy D. Yep. 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 Yep, that's Lippy D. Awesome.
7 deaths. Okay. Well, let's focus on rebuilding. I added Micey the Driftblim, giving us a Flymon, and I also ran Baton Pass Amnesia and Shadow Ball. Earthquake, W. Shadow Ball? Oh, and we outspeed, hello? We do have levels, and that did like nothing. If that kills, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be mad as fuck. I'm never trusting you again, bro! I'm never trusting you again, bro. I'm never trusting you again, bro. I'm never, ever trusting you again, bro. Never in a million years am I trusting Chad again. Never in a million, billion years am I ever listening to a word that comes out of any chatter's mouth. You see how this goes? I play poorly, I get rewarded. I play as careful as possible. This. We picked up Star the Clefairy and began working our way through their battleship. While we're doing that, I'd like to thank my channel members. Oh shit, let me actually lock in for these guys. Thank you for contributing to this channel so I can make bigger and better videos for you guys. Consider becoming a channel member for perks, including having your name on 5 of my videos for each month you're a member. Anyways, enough shilling for one day. Thank you so much though, guys. Genuinely, I really appreciate this stuff. You're all the goats on my little ranch, and I feed you oats from my hand. Let's check in on how livestream Spizzles is doing. Don't crit, don't crit, don't crit, don't crit, don't crit! Wonderful. We throw down with Colress, and while we're in the thick of it, I start having some serious worries on if we can beat the league. We started off so strong, but now we were racking up a lot of deaths, faster than we could find new members, and if I can't build an optimal team, it's hard to say I could get through the upcoming gauntlet deathless. But for now, we had bigger fish to fry, as Ghetsis was literally trying to murder us with his space dragon. They, like, fuse or something? Kind of boring, I don't know. I'm trying to do a Spizzalock here, guys. Ever heard of it? Oh, great. A 5v7 battle where they lead with an uncatchable black Kyurem. Alright, well, let's take a look at my team and see what we're working with. I lead poor Nosebleed into battle. He's not the best tank, but he's all we got. To make matters worse, we were so battered by the time we got to this battle, we were out of stone edges. Slash slides off Nose Pass as it connects Thunder Wave. Nosebleed gets brave and channels all of its power into a critical hit strength. And Kyurem retaliates with a sneeze. We go to Optimus, who also gets paralyzed by Dragon Breath. We try and go for a payback, but paralysis walls us. After some healing, we finally land a Dark Gem boosted payback after tanking a hit. Noticing a theme here? Cause I sure am. With a lot of heals and a little luck, we take down Black Kyurem with some power gems, and I can successfully say I am probably the first person to ever win this fight with a Nose Pass and a Grumpig. Now, we had some good news and bad news. The good news is, we were fully healed. The bad news is, it was time to face Ghetsis. We trade Toxic and Thunderwave turn 1 and take advantage of Kofagrigus' defensive nature to get Jack in safely, using the Protect Stall and Paralysis turns to our advantage. We set up max special attack and speed, and then baton pass it all to Optimus. Though for this battle, he shall be known as Optimus Schleim. Like a sign from the universe, YouTube copyrighted this portion of the video, and honestly, it was for the best. What do I like sing here to replace this? Fiend. No, I already did that one. I guess I'm out of time. I don't know, something funny here. With the day saved by an unlikely hero, there was only one more objective: take on the league. But we had a problem. If you've been paying close attention, you'll notice I've been losing practically everything to crit one-shots. So, to simply put it, I am naughty! And to make matters worse, my first trainer I fought in the Pokémon League led with the terrifying Titan Goaler, who nearly wasted Jack and landed a crit Shadow Punch on Nosebleed, killing him. Slicer X finishes it off, but it was too late. And, you know, I was kind of growing to like this shitty tank. With the current selection of Pokemon I had, I felt there was no hope for survival, so me and Slicer X went on a quest to catch as many Pokemon as possible, on routes we missed along our travels. We had caught all we could, and this is what we had to beat the league. Kabutops, Ambipom, Stunfisk, Grumpig, Banette, Behem, Mantike, Starmie, Azumarill, and Sawk. The difference between last time and now was, we wouldn't be able to access the PC between the Elite Four and boss battle fights. what we brought in was it. And if I'm being honest, I really didn't feel like our core surviving 4 had the synergy and power we needed to get through this. So I had to make some tough calls on who to take and who to leave behind forever. I knew I needed to take a psychic type, and I was gonna go with Optimus, but Starmie's moveset was so good, it was hard to pass up. After also going with Slicer X and Jack, I brought Star the Clefable due to its incredible defensive and evasive capabilities. Obviously, Mantyke would be useless, and Azumarill didn't have huge power, and I was already 2 water types deep, so that's a no-go. Currently, I was only really covering for one type, and that being fighting, so I needed more diversity in my types. I chose Banette for another edge over fighting, as well as super effective damage against Ghost and Psychic. And finally, I of course went with Sock, in order to balance out my obvious dark weakness, meaning I had to leave both Bear Trap and Optimus behind. We set up our team, giving Sock a fighting gem, Star leftovers, Jack bright powder, Slicer X a water gem, Milk a rocky helmet, and Grouch scope lens. And me and the gang said our goodbyes. They had certainly earned their retirement, and I'm glad to see they'll at least be safe in the Universal Allies box. Our strategy for the league wasn't perfect, but it was the best we could do. Star and Milk would be very defensive, using Minimize and their bulk to last as long as possible and chip away at opponents. Sock and Slicer X were on damage squad, and Jack was there for setup, although we made sure he could dish out some damage as well. Grouch, our Banette, was our special sweeper who would be working closest to Jack. I decided to fight them in order from easiest to hardest, as that would save us from the most casualties. We want to use the advantages we have while we have them rather than lose them on a battle we know we'll have a harder time with, and the extra XP will help. We face off against Marshall and it's Sock versus Throw. We go for a bulk up and Rock Tomb drops our speed. We still outspeed though and go for a gem boosted close combat, taking the Oko. Me and Chow comes out and uses Bounce. We predict this, so we go for another bulk up, putting us at +2 attack and back to +1 defense. I take the risk and let it connect. We survive and don't get paralyzed, but we of course take it out. I really wanted to risk it and go for the sweep, but I simply would not be able to beat Grimsley without Sock Tua. So I have Milk make her debut, getting crazy damage done by Hammer Arm. I Cosmic Power and use my one healing item in Minimize, and Conkeldurr bulks up. We use Psychic and he hangs on, only to waste it on a bulk up. Sock comes out and I'm scared of payback, but I try and test the waters in Cosmic Power. However, even with the double boost payback, our opponent does far too much damage, and honestly I should have switched earlier because Sturdy would have walled this strat anyway. I go to Star knowing payback is coming out, and I bait a fighting type move so I can safely switch to Grouch. The plan works smoothly, and from here we survive a payback and land a much needed Will-O-Wisp to nerf Sock's damage output. We stall out Sock for a few turns with Star, but I make a misplay and switch as to not risk her life. I go back to Grouch to stall another turn and bait payback. I go to Jack and land a double hit, taking it down and winning us the first fight. Now it's time for Grimsley, the Dark-type master. I lead with Star to stop him from using Attract. I proceed to keep myself healthy with Moonlight leftovers and the compounding interest of the boosts themselves to set max evasion and max defenses. Liper tries to do what it can with Aerial Ace, but it ain't much. We take down Liper with a couple body slams, and considering Brick Break was the worst thing Scrafty could land, I continue my offense. However, I realized that not only did I bring very few PP restoration items to this gauntlet, I used about half of my body slams on this battle alone, and Scrafty wasn't even down yet, so I had to play more carefully. I take it out, I wall out Crocodile, hit one more body slam, land the paralysis I need, and switch out with one body slam to spare. Bisharp lands an Aerial Ace on Sock Tua, and he lives, and takes the W. 2 battles down, 0 deaths. For our next fight against Chantal, I restore Body Slam PP on Star, teach Jack and Grouch Shadow Claw, and ditch Body Slam on Star for Psychic. We start off our battle against her with our classic Jack counter. I set up 2 nasty plots and an agility, not doing more due to Dr. Cough over here being more aggressive than previous iterations. I send it all to Star, and I get greedy once again. We take it down in 2 Psychics. Dodging a Brick Break, we take Golurk down the same way. Dodge Fire Blast, 2 more Psychics. Hitting level 60 on Star from all the EXP we got from cheesing, we dodge Acrobatics and finish the battle off deathless. The final battle of the Elite Four was against the toughest, Caitlyn of the Psychic type. And this time around, we led with Grouch the Banette, holding Ghost Gem. Musharna heals up after hitting us with a Charge Beam, and 2 Shadow Claws later, it's down. Sigalith comes out and hits a crazy Shadow Ball into Grouch, bringing him near death. He retaliates with another Shadow Claw, and finishes it off with a Shadow Sneak. I predict a Shadow Ball and go to Jack, but fail and get hit with T-Bolt. I go for a gem boosted Shadow Claw, thinking I would KO for some reason. I don't, and Gothitelle nearly kills Jack too. He picks up a citrus berry off the ground for some HP. I'd consider going to Star, but she only has 2 psychics left. I go to Milk, get hit with T-Bolt, we eat a citrus berry, but get paralyzed. Things are looking grim. I send out Slicer X to do what he does best, which is clutch, and he does just that, blasting through 2 Thunderbolts to secure the KO. Energy Ball is incoming, and we only have 2 healthy Pokemon left. I go to Star, I take my 1 healing item, and have to choose who's gonna clutch up and save the battle. I put my money on Grouch, and Star tanks a Focus Blast like a champ. We go to Grouch, and Reuniclus doesn't go for Focus Blast, but Psychic, putting Grouch in kill range. Looking at the cards on the table, we couldn't heal, we couldn't switch back out, and unless we got a crit, we couldn't one-shot. Grouch goes out on his final stand, doing huge damage with 1 last Shadow Claw, and falls to Reuniclus. Soctua with Sturdy comes out and decisively finishes the Elite Four with just a single death. We go to Iris, and it's time to go all out. We needed to avenge Grouch and all others who fell this leg. The battlefield was sick as hell, and my team was raring to go. I led the battle with Star and swapped Psychic for Ice Beam. Hydreigon starts dishing out Dragon Pulses, and I use Cosmic Power and Minimize. I hit a Moonlight and go back to stacking. I lose count and accidentally use 7 Cosmic Powers instead of 6. Whatever. And now, with max evasion and defense, it was time to try and end things how we do best. Abusing stat boosts. This may seem like a waste of time considering Clefable's lack of offense, but I think Stream Spizzles put it best. We're saving HP. We're saving a lot of HP doing this. So I'm just going to use my Ice Beams till I can't. With her 2 dragons down, it's Lapras time. I set a light screen against the incoming T-Bolt. I go to Soctua, who soaks up hits while it sets Bulk up, and one-shots with Brick Break. Aggron's out, and we close combat for the Oko. 2 Pokemon left, and we were in really good shape. Kabutops comes out for Archeops in the Battle of Fossils. Archeops flinches Slicer X to red, and we use our 1 healing item. A couple Rock Slides bring us back down to red, and Slicer X pops off an Ice Gem boosted Ice Beam that freezes. Instead of getting greedy and taking the KO, Slicer X tags out for Jack so he can set a nasty plot right in Archeops' face. As he goes for agility though, Archeops uses Endeavor, bringing Jack down, but he quickly pivots out and gives the boosts to Star. It all comes full circle. Archeops falls, and it's all down to this. Last Pokemon. Ice Beam. Sash broke. It's Dragon Dance. If we live this attack, it's claps. That's win. If we live this attack, it's a win. Yep, Star's the GOAT. New mainstay of the team. New mainstay. I don't care we have Jack. I don't care we have Jack as well. 2 normal types, I don't mind. I've had 2 water types for like the entire Spizzalock, so I don't mind 2 normal types. As we enter the Hall of Fame, I have mixed feelings about the future of this run. Was the call for a deathless leg just a hopeless dream? Or could we accomplish it again one day? We struggled with encounters this game, and now we had to do it all over again. And you may be wondering, Spizzles, something feels missing. You did like 3 gym leader challenges at the start of your run, and that was it? Why did that cause you to ban people from paying to make your challenge at Spizzalock harder? Well, my dear viewer, let's just say the sellout arc of Spizzalock goes on to a full trilogy, because as I was ending things off, Miffed Colt sent me a document, and the contents would change everything. But that's going to be about it. I'm really excited with some of the other videos I'm working on right now, and I really hope you enjoyed this. Again, if you made it this far, check to see if you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!